The year was 1943. Base Blue Hustle was a jagged scar of white coral on an island. To the maps, it was a refueling point. To the men, it was an anvil where the sun hammered them all day, and the fear hammered them all night. He healed them. Silas lived in a world of hydraulic fluid, 100-octane fuel, and the constant, rhythmic clink-clink-clink of a wrench against steel. The heavy heat. It was always heavy with moisture and the smell of rotting tropical fruit. Life at the base was a test of endurance. They ate Spam out of tin cans and dreamt of cold beer and the smell of fresh-cut grass in Ohio or Kentucky. Asked Cooper, a 19-year-old tail gunner who was trembling as he waited for his next mission. The Midnight Marauder one humid Tuesday. The base fell under the shadow of the Midnight Marauder. Alone, he dropped daisy cutters and flares just to keep the Americans from sleeping. The psychological toll was starting to show. Men were snapping, their eyes bloodshot and hands shaking. The Midnight Marauder. That night, the Marauder didn't just drop flares. He hit the primary fuel dump. The explosion was a pillar of roaring orange flame that turned the midnight sky into a false noon. If the fire reached the main hangar, the island's only defense would be incinerated. The gamble in the smoke. Silas grabbed a wet blanket, soaked it in a bucket of stagnant rainwater, and threw it over his head. He ran toward the burning hangar. A cloud of blue smoke puffed out, but it wouldn't catch. Above him, he could hear the whine of the Japanese bomber coming back for a second pass. Silas didn't jump out. With the fire licking the tail of the plane, Silas taxied the massive bird across the coral strip, moving it and 3 others away from the inferno. The dawn reflection. When the sun rose, the fuel dump was a smoking black pit, but the planes were safe. Silas sat on the wing of the aircraft he had saved, his hands wrapped in white gauze. Cooper, the young gunner, walked by. He didn't say anything at first. He just looked at the scorched paint on the plane and then at Silas. He reached into his pocket and handed Silas a bar of chocolate, the last of his rations. "You're a pilot now, Wrench," Cooper whispered. "You flew it across the dirt." Silas took a bite of the chocolate, the sweetness a sharp contrast to the salt and smoke in the air. He watched the planes roar down the runway and disappear into the blue horizon. But as the sound of the engines faded, he knew that, because of him, a few more boys would have the chance to come home. The war would eventually leave Blue Hustle behind, and the coral would grow back over the runway. But for one night, the man with the wrench had been the only thing standing between the fire and the sky.